And then I could talk about it all the time. I was molested when I was younger by my
Oh.
stepdad one time. And yeah, but I was always taught to, because he came out of prison and my sister had let him stay in the house with us. My mom was nowhere around. They wasn't together. And I was always taught, and I'm heavy on this conversation all the time on social media, to talk. If someone touch you, to talk. My dad always taught me that.
Yeah.
My mom, grandma, everybody. And when it happened to me, I was fortunate because he touched me. I was sleeping and I felt his hand in my panty and I jumped up and I got up and I went and laid at my sister's bedfoot and he left the house. But I always developed a thing where I hated men after that.
Yeah, that come natural.
And a lot of women are going through that, but they don't realize that. I hated men. Like, I think until I had my son is when I started respecting the male energy. Even when I was with his father, that made sure I went to school, took care of me, did things for me. I still, in the back of my head, is like, you could never trust him. He's a man.
Well, you see, that's a natural reaction, though. That's like that's like what we call it, a defense mechanism.
Yeah,
it's like you recognize.
Yeah, because this is the entity that made me feel. Because I remember I was 12, and after when I woke up when I was the night I went and laid at my sister's bedfoot, but the next day, like in the morning getting ready for school, I was just scrubbing my body. I felt dirty.
Wow.
I felt dirty. I felt like I was disgusted. I never felt no feeling like that before. And all I knew, it was just this person, this man, made me feel this. And I would grow up and hear little susses of people going through little shit, and like people raped or molested and shit like that. But until I experienced it, it was different for me. It was just like, and it's just like you trust this person too. The night before, I'm walking home with him. This man know me from I'm like 4 years old. You understand what I'm saying? And the night before, I'm walking home and he's walking me home and saying, holding my book bag and telling me, stay away from boys. Make sure you stay away from these boys and get your education, because all boys want to do is hurt you and touch you. So I trust this person. I've seen this person as my protector.
Yeah.
So when your protector goes against the grain with you and that trust is broken, and then I just became angry. I hated men. I never hated my father, though. My father wasn't around, but my father was, and at that time he was around because he was locked up. But my father, I grew up with a father, and that's why I always say I'll never be one of those females. I believe men belong in homes.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
If my father wasn't around to tell me, like, no one should touch you down there, my father bathed me, my father combed my hair. My dad, I remember in my my first book was Cat in the Hat, and he wrote hat, sat, mat, wrote the things on the cardboard. All when my hustler, the daytime, my time, till me go to bed, film time, I'm going to sit on and read with me. I had that male figure. Yeah. Even though it was the beginning years of my life, probably the first it was 5 or 6.
The most important
those
years.
Are the most important years, I realized. And that's what I always say. But I really hated men after that. And then he told people I was lying. At that time, I was in a house. My grandmother had passed away. My sister was only 18, and she ended up taking custody of me and my sister, and she had a 1-year-old.
Damn.
She was 18. The house now, the family members, they were fighting over the house. Everybody was like, oh, who name it was going to go in. The lights cut off. They left us in there with no lights. The adults moved out. So she couldn't make a police report because she knew they would take us away. And
damn.
Yeah. And I remember her crying because the main thing was when my grandmother died, we had uncles that wanted to take me, and one wanted to take my sister. My sister said no. So y'all could molest her like how y'all molested me. And that's why when there's a woman now, this shit happened a lot, but no one talks about it. Everybody sweeps it under the rug. That's why I'm so overprotective. I don't want anybody in my house with my kids, not even family members.
I don't blame you.
And sometimes they will even say, can I spend the night at somebody's house? And I'll be like, no. And I'm vocal with them and I explain to them, like, it took a long time. And I still don't trust anybody, still, to a degree.
Well, to the world around me, not trust people either.
Yeah, so it's like, but with that situation, I really hated men. So I know I looked at men as, you only want one thing from me, and I can only get money from you. Yeah. And then I ran away at 14 too, so I've been in the street. So it's like, nigga, I'm gonna beat you and use you before you think you're gonna use me.
Yeah, it's like survival of the fittest.
Yeah. So, but then, and that's the world that we live in. Why men and women right now, we not on that wavelength. And if we always on that different wavelength, because there's a lot of hurt and there's a lot of trauma.
A lot of hurt.
Even sometimes you don't even have to be molested as a female. Sometimes the mother went through it and inflict that pain on you, and you become that angry female and don't know why you hate men.
That's true.
But subconscious.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's like, that's why I'm grateful for social media. Yeah. And I'll always be myself, because I realize I've helped a lot of people, even when I don't know it, because they come into my DMs. They don't want to talk about it out loud. Some people do.
Yeah, but them come to you.
Yeah. And be like, Dag, I'm surprised that you would talk about that. Every opportunity to get, I always talk about it, because I love men now. Like, once I had my son, I had unconditional love with him. And it's like, once you learn unconditional love, because I never had low self-esteem, though. But after the situation with my stepdad, I just felt dirty. I felt like I did something wrong while he touched me. Because even afterwards, he said I was lying. And then he would see me and my little sister. And one day he was calling my little sister. And I was like, don't ever talk to him. And he was like, Monique, I'm sorry. Come talk to me. So he's whispering to me across the street while you're telling everybody I'm lying. So from 12, my mom wasn't here. She came back from Jamaica, because that time she did get deported and she always come back. She kill her. And she come back at 14 and I had to tell her. And my mother went crazy. My mother went insane. And I remember my mother found him, brought him to the house, woke me up on my bed like 3 o'clock one morning. And I never cursed in front of my mother until that day. And I was like, you told everybody I'm a liar. I said, I would never want to wake up with your hand. And I cursed him out. And I was venting and I cried. And he said, I'm sorry. Maybe I was drinking. It was, what was the worst part for me? I grew up in that city and everybody knows my family. Everybody knows me. When he told people I was lying, the men that I would consider like my uncles, you play uncles.
They knew he was capping.
No. I would walk, they would walk across the street from me.
What the
They stopped saying hello to me.
What the
fuck? I felt chastised. There's a time where I think that was the first time I ever felt like I wanted to commit suicide. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there anymore. And it was one of the worst shit. I never broke it down to the T like this, but I'm just remembering now. It was one of the worst feelings to know the place that I grew up with, where I will be walking by, hey, Nisi, hey, wala dala, go to the store, da-da-da-da, where I felt safe, to where grown men started looking at me like they would be scared to even say hi to me because they think I was lying. And I went through that until my sister moved out of that from Corona till we moved to Southside Jamaica. And then I came back when my mom came back and confronted him, until I confronted him down to his own brother. His brother was like a little older than me, like 4 years older than me. And his brother, me and him was close at the time. And after that, he stopped talking to me. A lot of people stopped talking to me. And I felt like I was disgusted. Like I felt like I did something wrong. I was confused, and I know I didn't do something wrong, but I was like, why is everybody treating me like this? And I come from a family where it was hard. So for you to inflict that, mind you, I'm still a child.
That's what I'm just about to say. 12. Like, it's a child, and them see her walk come down the road and then crossing
the street. And you hear
like a reasonable adult would be like, Momo, like, me hear a little thing like,
no,
what go down?
Nobody. The only thing, I remember my sister having a breakdown and crying because she just said, Monique, I can't make a police report right now. She said they're going to take y'all away from me, and I can't let them take y'all away from me. I remember that shit like yesterday. And I didn't feel no way about it, but I felt...
You understood.
I felt good to where it was like, I'm glad she told me about it. So yeah. I felt good where she taught me to talk up, and I told her when it happened, because if I didn't say to her the next day, it probably would have still went on again and again. I went a step further. So I understood.
Sleep with stab him in blood clot.
I had to hold it though but when I got to tell him and curse him out, and you know what's crazy? The whole community was out there, and those same people started coming over him tonight and hugging me like, John Noah. He had to leave because it got to a moment where it was getting violent, so he had to leave.
They would have killed him out there.
What? After that, but it was just like, damn, I walked around that shit heavy for 2 years. Like heavy. So where now, even on the internet, why people trigger me if you call me a liar, and I know I'm not lying. And now some people figured out, so them tell people lie upon me. It triggers me because it's like, it brings me back to that space to where it's like, it doesn't feel good. So I'm big on not lying. I'd rather tell you the truth and hurt your feelings than to lie. Because I see what lying could do, how much damage it could do. I rather you look back and say, yo, Alicia, tell me the truth. But me not practice to tell lie. Me tell lie to police too. Yeah. And I say, yeah, officer, yeah. And not even them. Sometimes they might pull me over. What you doing, speeding? What do we want me to do? But I talk about it because there's a lot of females going through it and don't even realize subconsciously that it's deeper than this. It's with our mothers, grandmothers, especially in Jamaica. Like, it's a big thing, but nobody talks about it. And
we see like all in Jamaica now, where like all them things that get swept under the rug. Like,
I hate that shit.
It's not them take it serious like America.
But in America here too, you know what it is? What's hard for me? I was the first one to be born here. I was actually born in my house. I'm first generation here. Even when I was growing up, if I did anything stupid, yeah, no Yankee, you're born here, but you better not act like them. My first dialect, I learned to talk in Jamaican. That was it.
Okay.
I grew up to straight immigrants. So there's a lot of shit I had to learn. The American culture. Like, I had to learn for somebody to come here. Every summer I'm going to go to Jamaica. When my mother get deported, them all did ship all the way with her too. Them never care. Uncle Sam don't come and look for we. I'd learned that. Me learned that a long time ago. But I had to learn certain things about the American culture. So when I really sit down with American people and they telling me, like, even in the black community, this shit is happening to them too heavy too. So I'm like, yo, it's just like a everybody thing. We just don't talk about it.
Damn. I know that's heavy.
And then I even had some people say, oh, that's why you're over-sexualized. No, not over-sexualized because of that. I never, and I don't even know when they say shit like that, but like, well, I think they said it's a study and most people that are molested are over-sexualized. I was never sexualized. I got older and I just got older.